So we've been looking at Moses. Last week, we looked at how Moses killed the dude and the Egyptian, and then everybody on the planet found out about it. He thought that he had done it in private where nobody saw him, and he was being really sneaky about it and went and killed this guy and then buried him in the sand. And then, of course, everybody found out. Even Pharaoh knew, and Pharaoh tried to kill him. And so Moses went off to the town of Midian and met a gal there and got married and had a kid. And so that's where we are right now. So it happened one day. And that's where this passage starts out. One day Moses was tending the flock of his father-in-law Jethro. He led the flock into the wilderness and came to Sinai. Sinai is this mountain that God has used for Israel to mark who they are and to give them the covenant and to the Ten Commandments and Promised Land and all of that. So here Moses is, before he leads the people out of Egypt, spoiler alert, that's what happens. He is at Mount Sinai, and this amazing thing happens. There the angel of the Lord appeared to him in a blazing fire from the middle of a bush. So we see this bush, and I don't know how big this bush is. I mean, I think of a bush, I think of something about 2 by 3, something like that, you know. I don't know what kind of bushes they have over there, but he's at this Mount Sinai, and this bush is there, and it's on fire. But it is not burning up. And so Moses is intrigued. You have to go touch it, don't you? You just have to. I mind a time, actually 2 different times growing up. We had a burn pit. It wasn't really a pit. It was just a spot on the grass that we burned trash at the back of the house. And we take the household trash out there and throw it out and light it on fire. And one day I decided, hey, you know what? I think I'm going to play in the ashes. It just looks like fun. So I took and I rubbed my hands around in the ashes, and some are really red hot and some are not. And I just couldn't resist. I just had to do it. It was just something that it was calling me. So I did it, and I got burned. Shocker. And then there was another time that Mom was cooking something, and we had an electric stove in the old house. And so, you know those electric stoves, the burners get red. Red is a pretty color. Oh my God. I understand Moses right now. He is standing there and he's seeing this bush all full red fire, and I want to touch that. So he starts walking closer, and you know, I was sitting up on the counter when Mom was cooking, and I don't know why I was on the counter. I don't even remember how old I was. Do you remember this? Okay, so she remembers this. So the burner was on, it was red hot. And I'm like, I want to touch that. And so I take my hand, and what do? I set my hand on that red hot burner. I see where James gets it. I don't have any scars from it, thank God. But Moses is in that same spot. He's a grown man. And he's tending the sheep, the flock, and he should be working, but now he's sidetracked. It's like squirrel, right? So I hope it's not dusk, because if it's dusk, the wolves are coming out and they're going to eat the animals, and he's sidetracked and he's looking at this bush, and the bush was engulfed in flames. It didn't burn up. And it says, "This is amazing," Moses said to himself. "This is amazing. I have to touch that." Why isn't that bush burning? He's so curious. I must go see it. When the Lord saw Moses coming to take a closer look, God called to him in the middle of the bush, "Moses, Moses, here I am." Moses replied, "Don't come any closer," the Lord warned. "Take off your sandals, for you are standing on holy ground." God didn't say don't come any closer because the fire will burn you up, did he? He said, don't come any closer because you are contaminating the ground that I possess right now. You are contaminating my area. You're getting in my close space. You all know people that get in your close space, don't you? Why are you tapping Jamie? Okay, you guys had a story earlier about this then. Well, I was in Walmart yesterday, and sure enough, there was somebody that I knew that right in your face. Not only can you smell their breath, you can taste their breath. Oh! And God's like, dude, you're crowding me. Don't crowd me. Take your sandals off. This is holy ground. And I tend to wonder, have we kind of lost that awe of God in our church building? You know, we have this saying, you can sit, you can stand, you can dance, you can clap your hands, just leave the snakes outside. What that really means is you can worship however you want to worship. But the whole meaning behind it is do it reverently. Give God the glory and honor when you're worshiping. And I tend to think that we've had, I don't want to slam on anybody, but we've had people that come in that don't even try to stand up to worship. I get it if you can't, and that's fine. I get it if God's not telling you to stand up. I get that. But there's been people that have come to the church here and at other churches that I've seen that there's no reverence. They're just there to be there, putting their time in. I think God's warning against that right now. He's telling Moses, dude, you're in my house. You're in my presence. Your sandals are dirty. And that's what that means. Your sandals are dirty. Take the sandals off. So God's saying, clean yourself before you come into my presence. Make sure that you repent of everything before you come into my presence. And when you're prayed up, and when you're right with me, come on in and visit. It's not that you have to come to church perfect, but once we get here, clean it up. You know, if you've had sins for the week, before you start to worship, clean it up. Take the sandals off. Make sure that you're right with God. Why isn't that bush burning up? I must go see it. I just love that. I must go see it. I mean, it's kind of like when a kid sees Santa Claus, I've got to go touch him. I've got to go sit on his lap. I'm drawn to him. And so Moses is drawn to God. Take off your sandals, for you are standing on holy ground. I am the God of your father, the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, the God of Jacob. When Moses heard this, he covered his face because he was afraid to look at God. He understands that this is the one true God. This is not the God that all the pagans worship. This is the God of gods. This is the God that the pagans' gods worship, if you will. And he recognizes that. And the Lord told him, I have certainly seen the oppression of my people in Egypt. Because, see, this is still on Moses' heart. When he saw that the Egyptian was beating on the Hebrew and he took and he killed him, this is still weighing heavily on his heart, even though it's been years since it happened. He's probably been asking God over and over again, just like the Hebrews do as they live in slavery, God, will you rescue us? Will you have compassion on us? Will you take care of us? Will you set us free? I've heard their cries, God says, of distress because of their harsh slave drivers. Yes, I am aware of their suffering. Moses, I know what's going on. How often do we approach God in the sense of we think God doesn't know what's going on in our lives? Like, God, do you see this? Why are you letting this happen? Do you not understand that this is rough on me? That you are making my life difficult? And we just kind of accuse God of being mean and selfish, where we don't realize that He's carrying us through. I am aware of your suffering, so I've come down to rescue them from the power of the Egyptians and lead them out of Egypt into their own fertile, spacious land. God says, I am going to rescue Israel, and you're going to have your own place. It is going to be absolutely amazing. I don't know if you guys think about your own house. Do you have a dream house? Maybe you don't live in your dream house right now, or maybe you have a dream house. For me right now, I'm pretty close. My porch is almost my dream house. I mean, it's the outside anyway. If you attach my porch to the house from Little House on the Prairie, that's my dream house. It is not too big. See, because what we have right now is a little too big. I get on the shower every now and then. Hey, you know what? I'm allergic to dust. You need to clean. And if it's not clean, I say the house is too big. So if I get the little house on the prairie house and it's not clean, we'll have to downsize. Maybe we'll be in one of the mini houses by the time we're done. Maybe the size of a doghouse. I don't know. I would, if I wasn't allergic, I'm definitely allergic to dust. If I wasn't allergic to dust, I would be cleaning. But even if I put a mask on, I've got this painter's mask and I put it on, it still gets in my eyes and I want to just scratch my eyeballs out of my head. Just horrible. But that's my dream house, the little house on the prairie with our porch on the front where you can go in and I can actually have a cigar inside the house because there's a fireplace there and the fireplace heats the whole place and it already smells like wood and smoke, right? And there's not really enough room for the kids to come home and visit. And there's a little tiny loft upstairs for James. And it's up above. And you know how stank rises? So he can fart all he wants up there. And it won't bother the rest of the house. It's kind of the perfect scenario. And the bathroom is outside, of course. No indoor plumbing. No indoor plumbing. So that's my idea of a perfect house. And so God didn't ask the Hebrews, what's your idea of a perfect land? God knows. Because He knows our hearts, doesn't He? He's like, I'm going to give you this land, and this land is absolutely perfect for you. And if I say, just trust me on this. If I say it's perfect, it's perfect. If we can't trust God, who are we going to trust? Oh, our wives. I get that. Perfect. And this land is owned right now it's flowing with milk and honey. And you know what? The stuff that we have nowadays is not milk. And that crap you buy in the store is not honey. Just so you know. If you ever milked a cow and drank the milk, that's milk. When I was on the farm, I would show up, I would bring the cows in, and first thing I would do, wash that cow up and get me a glass of milk for breakfast. That's the first thing I would do. Oh my goodness. And Mom used to get it from the Messing farm out by Port Sand Lake, and we would skim the cream off the top and put in the coffee. Oh, you don't like that, Karen? Oh, you're not a coffee drinker, though. Oh, my. And that is for me. So it is, yes. That's milk. The chalk stuff that you buy in the store is not milk. And the honey, you ever seen a honey in the store that doesn't candy? You can leave it on the shelf for 15 years and it doesn't candy? They have altered the honey. If your honey candies up, and Chris can tell you this, so can Dad, if your honey candies up, it's pure. And if it candies up, don't put it in boiling water to undo it. Set it outside in the sun and let God do His thing. Because it'll take some time, but in the heat of the sun, it will uncandy, and then you can eat it. And the land flowing with real milk and real honey. These are honest promises that God is making the Hebrews. And this is the land where the Canaanites and the Hittites and the Amorites and the Perizzites, my eyes aren't working, Hivitites, Jebusites, they all now live. But they're going to take it over. Look, the cry of my people of Israel has reached me, and I've seen how harshly the Egyptians abused them. And he says, now go. Moses, I need you to go. I am sending you to Pharaoh. Wait, whoa. Pharaoh, the last Pharaoh wanted to kill me. Remember, that one died. Does this Pharaoh want to kill me too? Does he know the stories of what I did? Doesn't matter. God's saying, go. Is he going to be like Noah? Jonah? I was watching The Fly, and is it going to be like Jonah and run? You must lead my people, Israel, out of Egypt. Moses says, but. And almost every time I've got a but in my Bible, I put a square around it. Because that's important. That means that there's a contradiction or somebody doesn't think the way God thinks. But Moses protested God. And no, he didn't get on a camel and ride to the other ends of the earth to try to get away. He just protested. And God said, you must lead my people out of Israel. Who am I to lead the people of Israel out of Egypt? Lead Israel out of Egypt. Who am I? God, I'm nobody. Who am I to appear before Pharaoh? Who am I to lead the people of Israel out of Egypt? And God answered, I will be with you. See, when God asks us to do something, He's not asking us to do it alone. He's asking us to do it with Him. And when we do it with Him, and we say yes, and we do it with Him, we have His power. And there's a great example here in this story. God answered, I will be with you, and this is your sign that I am the one who has sent you. When you have brought the people out of Egypt, you will worship God at this very mountain. So God's already predicting what's going to happen. You are going to lead the Israelites out of Egypt, and you will worship me at this spot right here. And remember, God's still talking out of this burning bush, and Moses is still astounded, and he's probably in the back of his mind not catching everything, saying, I want to touch that. I want to investigate that. I want to get closer. So how much of Moses' attention does God have? We don't really know, but God's saying, look, this is what's going to happen. But, Moses protested, if I go to speak to the people of Israel and tell them, the God of your ancestors has sent me to you, they will ask me, what's his name? So what do we call him? Who is this guy? Then what should I tell them? God replied to Moses, I am who I am. For us, that's kind of cryptic, but for them, they would understand that I am is the one that always existed. From the beginning of time and before time, God was. I am, he says. Say this to the people of Israel, I am has sent me to you. God also said to Moses, say this to the people of Israel, Yahweh, the God of your ancestors, the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob has sent me to you. This is my eternal name, my name to remember for all generations. Now go. Call together all the elders of Israel. He's told them several times now, you need to get going. You need to stop stalling. Stop making excuses. Just go and do what I ask you to do. And how often have we heard that from our fathers? Being it's Father's Day, I have to pull a little bit of that in here. How often have we heard that? Dad will say, you know what? Stop procrastinating. Stop making excuses. I asked you to do this and go do it. Just go get it done. Take care of it. I know that I've heard that many, many times. And I am an obstinate son, and I don't ever want to take orders, directions, or do what mom and dad tell me to do. Just me, I guess. But I've learned to not be disobedient. Because I've learned that if I'm disobedient, I live a shorter life. That is the only thing that can extend your life. Did you know that? The only thing that can make you live longer is to obey your father and mother. Obey your parents. Doesn't matter at what age you are, obey them. And if they're gone on to be with the Lord, you still need to obey them because their rules still stand. They made the house rules, didn't they? And the house rules stand. That's the way it is. That's the way God's intended it. The elders of Israel will accept your message. Verse 18. Then you and the elders must go to the king of Egypt and tell him, the Lord, the God of the Hebrews, has met with us, so please let us take a 3-day journey into the wilderness to offer our sacrifices to the Lord. So it was only a 3-day travel from Egypt, where they were in captivity, to Mount Sinai. 3 days. So, Andrew Lacey, buddy, you're watching this? Don't message me while I'm preaching. Oh, you're a pastor, dude. Come on. What's that all about? Rabbit. So it was only a 3-day journey. So what Moses and the leaders of the Hebrews were asking, they weren't asking to be released completely. They're like, look, just let us all go to this on this vacation. Let us take a vacation from slavery for 3 days. We'll be right back, I promise. We're just going to go and then we'll come back and everything will be fine. We're going to go and we're going to offer sacrifices to God and we're going to worship God at His holy place, where He says it's His holy place at Mount Sinai. Oh, and the king doesn't like this so much. But I know that the king of Egypt will not let you go unless a mighty hand forces him. The mighty hand is the hand of God, and we're going to see that a lot of things came upon this king in order to force him to let Israel go. So I'll raise up my hand and strike the Egyptians, performing all kinds of miracles among them. And I don't know if I like how the New Living Testament calls it miracles, because yes, it is miracles, but it's more plagues, right? And really bad, nasty things. But yes, they are. Yes, in the roughest sense of the word, yeah, they're miracles. But we normally look at miracles as a good thing. These things are not going to be good things. Then, at last, they will let you go, and I will cause the Egyptians to look favorably on you. And this is one of my favorite parts. And they will give you gifts. So God will beat these people up so bad. He'll beat the Egyptians up so bad that they're going to be giving them gifts. Here, take all my silverware. Take the drapes off the windows. Take my toilet seat. You go. Just go and be happy and get out. Oh, by the way, here's my treasure chest. Here's all my money. Just go. Just so your God will leave us alone. We're giving you everything we have. Every Israelite woman will ask for articles of silver and gold and fine clothing from her Egyptian neighbors and from the foreign women in their houses. You will dress your sons and daughters with these, stripping the Egyptians of their wealth. So the Egyptians will be stripped of their wealth. So God says all of this. And he's laying out this plan, and this is what's going to happen, and it's going to be glorious, and I've got your back, I'm taking you through it, and all of this is happening. So it all happened one day that the bush is burning, and I think that Moses is still distracted by this bush that is not burning up, because in chapter 4, the very first thing that he says, but Moses protested. What if? What if? And so this is how I know that Charlene is related to Moses. They're probably brother and sister. Because Charlene is the best what if person on the face of the earth. There's nobody that can what if better than her. I'm telling you. She will what if me until my heart feels like it's going to explode out of my chest because I'm so frustrated. So, this guy Thomas, he got a text from his buddy. And his buddy texted him and he said, pray for Charles, he was in a bad accident. And so he said, okay. So he went into his wife and he said, hey, I just got a text. It said, pray for Charles, he was in a bad accident. Well, is he okay? I don't know. I got a text that said, pray for Charles, he was in a bad accident. Well, was anybody else hurt? I don't know. I got a text saying Charles was in a bad accident. Well, where was the accident? I don't know. I got a text saying that Charles was in a bad accident. Well, what hospital is he in? I don't know. I got a text saying he's in a bad accident. Well, is he going to be okay? I don't know. Was anybody else in the car? I don't know. Char what ifs me? Same thing, huh? And she'll do that. She'll do that with the texting thing. I'll get a text. And then there'll be like 4,000 questions. And you got it from Moses. Look at him. He's not only arguing with his, with his spouse, he's arguing with God about this. But what? But what if? I'm going to protest you, but what if this and what if that? And okay, so you've got to give me all the details before I can go. I have to know every detail. Like, okay, Charlene, we're going to get in the truck. We're going to start the truck. We're going to pull out of the driveway. We're going to go left, not right out of the driveway, because if we go right, we'll have to go the long way around, and there's construction on Applegate Road, so we're going to go left. And then when we turn left, we're going to try to avoid the deer that's down there, because there's a little deer, and it's got a big snout nose thing, and it's kind of bash nose. We're going to avoid that deer, and then once we avoid the deer, we're going to try to avoid the crazy guy that lives on the corner. You all have a crazy guy that lives on the corner. Everybody's got a crazy guy that lives on the corner. So we're going to try to avoid the crazy guy that lives on the corner. And we did. He moved now. He's gone. So now we have to be careful we don't hit the kids, because now there's kids playing out there. And so once we turn right and we avoid and we miss I've got to give every detail, and that's what Moses wants. Every detail. Every little tiny itty bitty thing. Oh, I'm sorry, Charlene. I missed the fact that that big old bug hit the windshield. So now we have to stop and wash the windshield. Can we add that to the agenda, or do we have to go back home and start all over again and give you all the details? Moses doesn't even want to get started. He doesn't even want to get started. But he has some disabilities. And so, rightly so, he's concerned. We'll see next week. The story continues. But as for right now, when God stands in front of you, take your sandals off. Clean yourself up. I want to touch that. I want to touch God. Because you know what? What happens when you touch God? The woman that touched the tassel of Jesus' gown, she was healed. And we all need a touch from God. Moses is a great man, but he's just like us, lots of flaws. And he's going to what if God till God finally tells him, okay, I've had it with you. You don't get to go to the promised land. Oh, spoiler alert, I'm sorry. You guys should be reading ahead anyway, right? Let's pray. God, I thank you so much. Lord, I thank you for your scripture. I thank you for the day that you gave us. I thank you for fathers, for dads. Lord, I pray that you take all the deadbeat dads and you throw them in a pit and bury them up. Or you teach them how to be real dads. Because nobody deserves to have a deadbeat dad. Nobody deserves to have a couch potato. Nobody deserves to have a parent walk out on them. I thank you that I don't know what that's like, but some here do. And I just pray for the touch of your garment, that we can just touch you and that we can be healed. Our physical healing, our spiritual healing, our emotional healing. Lord, you are the great healer, and thank you so much. Thank you for Moses, and help us to continue on with his story and just to have fun watching how he reacts. Lord, help us to remember it happened one day. And help us not to fear, but to touch your garment. In Jesus' name, amen.